If you feel like your bank account is getting bitten to death by tiny monthly charges, you are not imagining it. You are living inside the subscription economy, where companies stopped selling you products and started renting you access to your own life. And the scary part is not one subscription, it is the stack. It is the slow drip of 15 here, 11 there, 10 there, 4.99 there, quietly draining your net worth while you sleep. Let's start with a simple buy versus rent contrast. 10 to 15 years ago, if you needed software, you would walk into a store, pay maybe $150 one time, install it, and use it for years. You owned a version, and you could keep using it until your computer died. Today, you download a free app. You start a free trial, and now it is $15 a month. After 5 years, you have paid about $900 for the exact same tool, and if your card declines, the software can lock you out of your own files immediately. That is the shift. You used to buy things, now you rent the right to use them. Your TV shows, your music, your photo storage, your workout plan, your productivity tools, and yes, even physical features in a car you already bought. And this happened for one reason: Wall Street math. So let's talk about the business model behind it, because once you understand the incentive, you stop blaming yourself and you start protecting your money. Companies have a problem with good products. If a company sells you a high-quality washing machine that lasts 20 years, they only get your money once. If they sell you software that you can use for 10 years, they only get your money once. And Wall Street hates once. Wall Street loves predictable. Predictable revenue is easier to forecast, easier to scale, and it makes a company look safer to investors. So companies discovered a cheat code: ARR, annual recurring revenue. Annual recurring revenue means the company can look at next month and say, "We already know what we will make." That predictability is worth a lot. Here is a clean illustration. If a company makes $10 million in one-time sales, investors might value that company around 10 million, maybe more depending on the business. But the point is, it is valued like normal revenue. If that same company forces users into monthly subscriptions and now generates $10 million in recurring revenue, investors might value it at a much higher multiple, because recurring revenue is treated like a machine. So the goal becomes obvious: stop building products you sell once, and start building systems that bill forever. A cash register is nice, but a subscription is a digital vacuum that reaches into your account every 30 days, whether you remember it or not. And that is why everything became as a service. Not because it is always better for you, because it is better for the stock price. Now let's talk about the traps, because the subscription model is not just pricing, it is psychology. Trap number 1, holding your work hostage. This is the software trap. If you have ever paid $50 a month for creative software, editing tools, design tools, music production tools, you already know the feeling. At first it feels reasonable. I need this to build my portfolio. I need this for my business. I need this to level up. But then something weird happens. You realize you are not paying for updates. You are paying a ransom, because if you cancel, you do not just lose new features. You can lose the ability to open, edit, or properly export the projects you created over the last 5 years. Your own work becomes locked behind a paywall. Think about how insane that is. Imagine buying a toolbox, and then the company says, "If you stop paying, we take back the screwdriver," and you cannot open any of the things you built with it. That is not a service. That is a hostage situation, and it changes your behavior, because now you are not asking, "Do I want this?" You are asking, "Can I afford to stop paying?" That is the entire strategy. Convert a choice into a dependency. Trap number 2, hardware as a service. The part where this becomes absurd. You buy a $60,000 luxury car. The physical heating coils are already installed in the seats. You already bought them. The hardware is sitting in your driveway. Then the manufacturer puts a software block on the seats and charges you $18 a month to turn them on. So now you're paying monthly to unlock something that physically belongs to you. This is the subscription economy in its purest form, renting you access to your own stuff. And the reason it works is because it exploits monthly payment thinking. $18 a month sounds small, but $18 a month for 5 years is over $1,000. to activate hardware that was already installed. And companies love this because it turns a one-time feature into a forever revenue stream. If you ever catch yourself saying, "It is only $10 a month," pause. That phrase is how they win, because it is never only one thing. It is 10 things. Trap number 3, the friction matrix. Cancellation is intentionally annoying. Signing up is instant. One click. Face ID done. Canceling is a maze. You might have to log in on a desktop, reset a password, navigate 3 menus, click Manage Plan, scroll past upsells, close a pop-up that says, "Are you sure you want to leave?" Then find a tiny gray cancel link. And sometimes you have to call, and sometimes you get transferred, and sometimes they offer discounts just to keep you paying. This is not accidental. This is engineered because companies learn something simple: people avoid discomfort. Canceling is mildly uncomfortable, so most people delay it. "I will do it tomorrow." Tomorrow becomes next week. Next week becomes 6 months. They are monetizing your laziness. Yes, but more accurately, they are monetizing your avoidance. They keep the price just low enough that you do not feel urgency. 4.99, 9.99, $11. These numbers are designed to be ignorable, and ignorable is profitable. Now let's do the math, because the math is the wake-up call. Subscriptions feel cheap because you do not pay a lot at once, but over time, they stack into real money. Take a normal modern setup: streaming TV, $15, music, $11, free shipping service, $15, cloud storage, $10, one random app, $10, that is $61 a month. $61 a month feels like nothing, because you spend more than that on a meal without thinking. But $61 a month is $732 a year, over 10 years. You pay $7,320, and that is if prices never increase, which they usually do. Now here is the part that hurts. Reverse compound interest. What if instead of leaking $61 a month, you invested it? Not a guarantee. Markets move. But as an illustration, if you invested $61 per month into a diversified S&P 500 style index fund approach, over 10 years at a 10% average annual return assumption, you end up with over $12,000. Let that sink in. The same money can become a pile that helps you, or a pile that disappears into corporate vaults. That is why subscriptions are reverse passive income. They are passive expenses, draining your wealth while you sleep. And it is not just the math. It is the mindset shift subscriptions create. When you buy something once, you think about value. When you rent something monthly, you think about, can I tolerate this charge? Tolerance is not value. Tolerance is addiction economics. Now, to be fair, not all subscriptions are bad. Some subscriptions are genuinely useful if you use something daily, and it saves you time, and the price is fair. Great. This is not about never subscribing. This is about stopping unconscious subscribing, because unconscious subscriptions are what keep people feeling broke even when they earn decent money. So how do you take control without turning your life into a spreadsheet? You do it with 3 rules. Rule 1. Make subscriptions fight for a budget. Pick one monthly number, a subscription cap. Maybe it is $50, maybe it is $100. The number depends on your income and priorities, but the rule is simple. If you add a subscription, another one has to die. No exceptions. This forces trade-offs, and trade-offs create awareness. Rule 2. Cancel anything you have not used in 30 days. Not might use. Not will use. Used if you have not opened the app in 30 days. You do not need it monthly. You might need it once in a while. Fine. Subscribe for 1 month when you actually need it, then cancel again. Most companies hate this behavior, which is how you know it is correct. Rule 3. Rebuild friction. Companies remove friction to make you spend. You need to put friction back. Remove subscription app shortcuts from your home screen. Turn off auto-renew where possible. Pay annually only for things you are absolutely sure you will keep, and only if the annual discount is real. And for anything you are unsure about, month-to-month is better because it keeps you honest. Now here is one more mindset shift that changes everything. Start asking, what happens if I stop paying? If stopping payment destroys your access to your own work, your own files, your own history, you are not a customer, you are a hostage, and the solution is not panic. It is planning. Export your files, back up your data, use formats you can open elsewhere. Reduce lock-in where you can, because the subscription economy is not just charging you money, it is charging you freedom. Now let's bring this back to the core truth. Wall Street forced companies into subscriptions because it inflates valuations. You are renting access to things you used to own, paying a premium for the illusion of convenience, and the cancellation process is intentionally designed to make you give up. You cannot build wealth if your bank account has a dozen corporate leeches attached to it every month. Take back your ownership. Buy things once, or do not buy them at all, or subscribe intentionally. With a cap and with a plan. Now your homework tonight is brutal but necessary. Open your bank statement. Find every subscription you have not used in the last 30 days and slaughter it, not tomorrow, tonight. Then add up how much money you just saved per month. And comment that number, because once you see it, you realize you have been funding other people's passive income. If you want more breakdowns like this, subscribe, and let's keep your money yours.